Hey, let's be honest. Few things are more frustrating than getting into your car on a hot day, turning on the air conditioning, and nothing happens. No cool air, no breeze, maybe even some weird sounds. It's enough to make you think something major is broken. But before you drive to a mechanic or spend money you don't want to spend, take a deep breath. There's actually a quick, simple way to reset your car's air conditioning system. No tools, no experience, no cost. It takes less than 30 minutes, and it could get your AC working again, just like that. I'll walk you through it. Let's start with something that seems almost too easy. Disconnecting your car battery for a few minutes. Sounds silly, right? But it's one of the most common ways to wake up a sluggish AC system. Why does it work? Because modern cars are packed with electronics, and those electronics sometimes freeze, just like your phone or laptop might. Disconnecting the battery gives your car a full system reset, including the modules that control your air conditioning. Here's exactly what you need to do. First, make sure your car is turned off completely. Then pop the hood and find the battery. Look for the negative terminal. It's usually black or marked with a minus sign. Loosen it with your hand or a small wrench and slide the cable off. Now just wait for 10 full minutes. That's it. While you wait, you can check the terminals. If you notice any powdery buildup or rust, gently clean it off with a dry cloth. That'll help ensure a strong electrical connection when you hook everything back up. After 10 minutes, reconnect the battery. Positive cable first, then negative. Make sure everything's snug and in place. Now, get in the car and start it up. Turn on the AC. A lot of the time, you'll notice the system feels normal again. Cold air starts flowing and whatever strange behavior you noticed before is gone. It's like giving your car's brain a fresh start. And if the problem was just a software hiccup or memory glitch, you're done. Fixed. No tools, no money, no drama. Now let me show you a second step. It's a little strange but surprisingly powerful. You're going to turn on the air conditioner without starting the engine. Stay with me. This isn't random. Many cars today have smart AC systems that remember what you ask them to do. So even if the engine's off, when you press buttons, like turning on the AC or adjusting the fan, your car stores that info. It's preparing for when the engine starts. In fact, some cars even run a silent internal reset during this process. Here's how to do it right. Insert your key and turn it to the on position, not the engine, just the setting where your dashboard lights come on. Now, press the AC button. Set the fan to medium. Then just leave it alone for about 30 seconds. After that, turn everything off, remove the key, and pause for a few more seconds. What you've done is give the AC system clear instructions before startup. When you now start the engine and try the AC again, your car's climate control module will often wake up correctly, sometimes even correcting small bugs in the process. Together, these two steps, a battery reset and a pre-programmed AC setup, can bring your cooling system back online with almost zero effort. It doesn't fix deep mechanical failures like broken compressors or leaks, of course. But if your system just isn't responding right, or if something seems frozen or glitchy, this is the fix that often works. Step 3. The strange trick of pressing the AC button 10 times. It might sound ridiculous at first, like something you'd read in a random online forum, but pressing your AC button 10 times in a row could be the exact reset your car's air conditioning system needs. This isn't a myth or guesswork. It's a trick based on how modern vehicle electronics respond to repeated signals. Here's what's really going on. Every time you hit that button, you're sending a command to the vehicle's control unit. Turn on, turn off, turn on again. In many cars, especially those made by brands like Hyundai, Honda, and Kia, this repetitive input can nudge a confused or frozen AC module back to life. Think of it like tapping someone's shoulder repeatedly to snap them out of a daze. To try it, put the key in contact mode. That's when the electronics come on, but the engine stays off. Press the AC button to turn it on. Wait a beat. Press it again to turn it off. Do this 10 times in total. Then pause for about 10 seconds. Don't rush. Let the system breathe. When you finally start the engine, listen closely. That subtle click you hear, that's the compressor kicking in. And that cool air brushing across your face, that's your system saying thank you. Step 4. Recirculation mode, the hidden reset. No one talks about. There's a small button on your dashboard, usually marked by a circular arrow looping inside a car. Most drivers never give it a second thought, but this simple recirculation button can help fix air conditioning issues without ever opening the hood. Behind the scenes, this button controls something called the air mix actuator, a small electric motor that opens and closes airflow doors. Over time, the actuator can get stuck, confused, or lose track of its position. The result? Hot air blowing when it should be cold, air coming from the wrong vents, or barely any airflow at all. You can reset it manually. And here's how. With the engine off and key in contact mode, press the recirculation button and hold for 3 seconds. Turn it off. Wait 3 more seconds. Repeat this entire sequence 10 to 15 times. What you're doing is gently forcing the actuator to move back and forth across its full range, something it rarely does under normal driving conditions. This repetitive motion can unlock stuck motors, recalibrate its position, and restore normal airflow. One viewer once told me his AC only blew air from the floor. After this little trick, it started working perfectly again. No tools, no parts, no visit to the shop. And if you happen to hear a faint clicking during the process, don't panic. That's often just the actuator realigning. Silence and steady airflow afterward mean it worked. Most people think of the defrost button in their car as just something you use when the windshield fogs up. You press it, and it clears the glass so you can see the road. But what many drivers don't realize is that this simple button can also be used as a secret diagnostic tool for your air conditioning system. Yes, really. Something that looks so basic can actually help you figure out whether your AC is working or not. Here's how it works. When you turn on the defrost mode, the one with the little icon of arrows pointing upward on a windshield, many vehicles quietly activate the AC compressor behind the scenes. Even if you haven't touched the air conditioning button, the car switches it on anyway. Why would it do that? Because cold, dry air helps clear moisture from the windshield faster than warm, humid air. The car knows this and uses the compressor to make defrosting more effective. And that gives you a clever way to test if your AC system is even alive. So if you suspect your AC isn't working, maybe you don't hear the familiar click or feel any cold air, try using defrost mode instead. Put your hand near the vents on top of the dashboard where air blows toward the windshield. Can you feel air movement? Does it seem slightly cooler than before? Do you hear a faint click when you turn the defrost on? If you do, it's a good sign. That means the compressor is still kicking in. The problem might not be in the major components of the system, but instead something simpler like a broken button, a stuck sensor, or a minor glitch in the electronics. Here's a little trick that sometimes works. Once you've got the defrost mode running and the compressor is active, press the AC button again. In certain cars, this can wake up the system, almost like the electronics are shaking hands and re-establishing communication. It's a soft reset that might bring your controls back to life. Now, if you try defrost mode and nothing changes at all, no airflow, no click, no response, then unfortunately, the issue might be more serious. You could be dealing with a bad relay, a worn-out compressor, or a low refrigerant level. But here's the good news. By trying the defrost test first, you're no longer blindly guessing. You're narrowing it down one step at a time. Another tiny part that causes major headaches is the AC fuse. This little component is easy to overlook because it's so small and cheap. But if it blows, even partially, it can stop the entire air conditioning system from working. Your buttons will become unresponsive, the compressor won't turn on, and the whole setup will feel like it's completely dead. People often assume something big has failed, but in reality, it might just be the fuse. Thankfully, checking and resetting a fuse is simple. First, turn off your car completely and take the key out of the ignition. Then find the fuse box. It's usually located under the dashboard, near the glove compartment, or under the hood. Look for a fuse labeled something like AC, AC comp, blower, or climate. Using your fingers or plastic tweezers, gently pull it out. Let the car sit for about 20 seconds. This gives the system time to fully power down and reset. Then firmly push the fuse back into place. Sometimes that's all it takes. The system reboots, the compressor wakes up, and your AC works like nothing was ever wrong. You didn't need tools, a mechanic, or a costly repair bill. Just a few minutes and a bit of patience. Here's one more golden tip. While you have the fuse out, take a close look at it. If the tiny metal strip inside looks blackened, hazy, or burned, that's a sign the fuse may need replacing. Make sure to replace it with the exact same amperage. Don't use a higher rating, just in case. That might seem like a harmless upgrade, but in a real overload situation, it could cause serious electrical damage. Think of this reset like rebooting a frozen Wi-Fi router. It's often all you need to get things running again. If it doesn't work, at least you've ruled out one of the most common and easiest to fix problems. But if the problem still isn't solved, there's one more part to consider: the relay. It works like an electrical switch that sends power to the compressor. Relays can fail too, but checking or replacing one can be a little more technical, so we'll save that topic for another video. For those with automatic or digital climate control systems, the ones with buttons and a screen instead of old-school knobs, there's one final step that might help. These systems sometimes store memory settings, such as temperature, fan direction, and even past errors. When the system gets confused, it might need a full reset to work correctly again. Here's how to do it. Put your car into auxiliary mode, the one where the electronics turn on, but the engine stays off. Then press and hold two buttons at the same time. It's usually auto and recirculation or off and another button. Hold them for 10 to 15 seconds. If you see the display flash, hear a beep, or notice a new symbol, that means the reset worked. This process can recalibrate the small motors that control airflow inside the vents, motors that sometimes get stuck or misaligned. In many cases, this simple trick brings your AC back to normal. And that's it. You didn't have to touch a single mechanical part, and yet you just walked through some of the smartest diagnostic tricks mechanics use to test air conditioning systems. If your AC starts working again, congratulations. You've saved yourself a frustrating trip to the repair shop and possibly hundreds of dollars. And even if it doesn't work yet, at least you've done some real troubleshooting and now know exactly what to focus on next.